Hey witches, how you doing today? We are back with another video. It is a gloomy day here in Edmonton, Alberta. It is overcast and windy and there's lots of rain in the forecast, so it is kind of a gloomy day, but I thought let's do our video. We're going to talk a little bit today about planning and sort of all the different witchcraft celebrations. So, like, do you ever feel like the Sabbats just sort of creep up on you? And then you throw in the full moons and you're like always behind the eight ball? That was my life for years and years and years. And I guess, do you have like a clear view of the work that goes into witchcraft? And I say that with compassion, not in like a snobby kind of way. But, you know, now that I'm a bit further into the game, and I have like regular school requirements for full moon work, and I lead a study group that meets for the Sabbats. You know, there's a lot going on. And even in my dabbling days, if you will, the days when I was like, well, I'm like an eclectic witch and I don't know, I'm just doing my best here, I was always hard pressed to keep all my commitments, right? To each, excuse me, each full moon and each Sabbat. You know, there were always celebrations that snuck up on me, and I found myself totally unprepared for them, going like, today is Beltane. I guess I'll light a bonfire in my backyard. Yeah, that'll do, right? So let's talk about how I manage all of those kind of commitments and make sure that everything gets done. Before we do that though, for those of you who are new around here, my name is Taya. Welcome to the channel. We talk about all things witchcraft. And for those of you who are returning viewers, maybe coming in from another video, welcome back. I really appreciate the support. And all of you, please consider subscribing. It's a really great way to help us build the channel. So, how do witches manage keeping up with all of the celebrations, right? There's a Sabbat every 6 weeks. There's a full moon every 4 weeks, and that's just full moons. Some people also celebrate the dark moon or the new moon, which would mean every 2 weeks you've got a celebration there. In my opinion, keeping up with it all comes down to good old-fashioned planning, scheduling. So let's take a look at this week here and check out sort of all of the nitty-gritty details. So yesterday, Tuesday, June 14th, was the full moon. I had some stuff going on, so I wasn't able to do my workings on the full moon, so I'm doing them tonight, which is Wednesday, June 15th. Next Tuesday is the 21st, which is midsummer, and I'm actually celebrating that with my study group the Sunday previous on June 19th, so I'll have activities on both the 19th and the 21st. So that's a lot, and it all kind of comes up in the same week. If I'm not prepared for this, like this week, this yesterday, Tuesday, till next Tuesday, I'm going to get slammed and something's going to get dropped. So first I just kind of lay out what am I going to do. So on the actual full moon yesterday, my plan was just to mark the full moon, just to like put eyes on it and go, whoo, drink in the actual full moon energies, right? Simple observation. The 15th tonight, I have got spellcraft. So I have spellcraft that I do each full moon. So I need to make sure that that was all written out and I'd obtained all the supplies I needed. The 19th is the group ritual. I need to make sure I've got the incense made. I've got fireworks. Oh, I wish we could do fireworks. Firewood. My yard is ready. You know, the cushions are out and all the you know, it's been mowed. All my personal items I need for the ritual have been gathered up and all of the group ritual stuff has been set up in the yard. And then on the 21st, I'm going to mark midsummer, which means I'm not going to do like a huge big celebration, but I am going to make a fairy house. So I need to make sure that I've obtained all of the supplies to make that fairy house. So as you can see, there needs to be some planning involved to ensure that everything is ready to go when it's needed. So what does the pre-prep look like? Well, first thing, and this is an important one, is I mark all the dates in my calendar with reminders. So the actual like full moon, okay, I go to bed at 10 o'clock. So I have at like 9:45 a reminder come up in my phone that says, don't forget to stay up a little bit later because the sun's not down yet and mark, you know, make sure you get your eyes on that full moon. And, you know, the date and time that the group meeting is happening on Sunday is in my calendar with a reminder that goes off at least 2 hours prior. Right? So every date has a reminder in my phone. The week before the full moon, I need to make sure I've written out all that spellcraft and I've attained the supplies for it. The group ritual, right? I need to obtain incense supplies, which can take up to 3 to 4 weeks. And I need to make sure I've purchased firewood, the yard is set up, the ritual is set up, and then I need to forage for the fairy house supplies. So again, if I'm going to make that fairy house on Tuesday, I might have time on Tuesday to go and like take the dog out and go for a long walk and forage everything I need. But I might have other commitments Tuesday during the day, in which case I need to make sure I schedule that, right? So I know what's going to happen. I can't just assume it's going to happen. So one thing I do is I start planning for the next celebration right after the previous one has ended. So I've been planning Midsummer since Beltane, right? Especially looking at things that I know are hard to obtain, like incense ingredients. The other thing I like to do with incense is, I'm just doing this round right now, is I make lots so that next year I'll already have it made and I don't have to worry about obtaining incense ingredients again, hopefully. I've also gone through and I've pre-scheduled every group Sabbath ritual for the coming year. So I started it for this June, and I went through and I went and found every Sabbath on the calendar, found the closest Sunday to it, and said, okay, that's the day we're doing our group ritual. So there's no like willy-nilly, oh gosh, when are we going to do it? Like it's planned like a year in advance. And then I've also gone through and made a list for each Sabbath and each Esbit, a list of all of the quick and recurring to-dos that have to do with that particular celebration, right? So I'm making these particular protection cords in these colors, so I know I need to have embroidery floss in those colors ready to go, etc., right? Just making a list of all that stuff that I know happens routinely at each Sabbath or at each Esbit. For my full moon spellcraft, it happens, I have like, it's like a thematic cycle, so I'm always able to pre-plan ingredients, etc. And some of them are really hard to obtain. Like for August, I need something representing a swan. All I can think of is like a swan feather. I need something representing a horse, and I'm like a horse hair, something, right? So again, sometimes these need a little bit of lead time to track down. So I make sure I start on the next one as soon as the current one is done, which gives me about at least 4 weeks lead time. So I have this planning sheet that I put together. It's like a wheel of the year, but it's just listed out. So it starts in June. You guys won't really be able to read this, but it says, this is June. This is the first Esbet in June, the first full moon, and then it's got all the full moon information, and then what am I going to be doing? And then it's got the next date for the Sabbath, and right, what is that? It's midsummer, spring, or summer solstice, and this is what we're doing, right? And then it's got bolded the date that I'm actually meeting with the group. And then we go to July, and then it's got the full moon in July listed. Then we go to August. It's got the August 1st, it's got Lammas listed, and then it's got the actual full moon listed. And I have this planned out for, it goes like an entire year, right? With all of the things that I need to know to remember to do. Specific meditations that have to happen at that time of year. You know, things that I've pacted to that I'm like, hey, I'll do this for you on the equinoxes and the solstices, right? The days that I make protection cords, that kind of stuff. So it's all sort of planned out and nothing sort of sneaks up on me. So to be fair, I spend more time planning my celebrations than I spend doing my celebrations. But what that does is it allows me to be well planned, well prepared, and have everything on hand that I need and avoid undue stress leading up to those workings. And that makes my celebrations joyful. I want to actually hit all the celebrations. I want to make sure I do the work that I committed to doing for those celebrations and not make it like slapdash, make do, whatever I can just squeeze together. Crap, I need to get this done. Because that's stressful. And then when it's stressful, I'm not in the moment when I'm doing that ritual or that spellcraft, right? I'm sitting there going, frick, I didn't get something for a horse, so I'll just, draw a picture of a horse on a piece of paper. But then I feel like, I didn't put my best effort into it. Nah, right? And I'm not in the moment, just working my witchcraft. And at the end of the day, witchcraft should bring us joy and not stress. So yeah. My suggestion is some pre-planning, lots of good, to-dos in your schedule with reminders so everything gets done. And when it comes time to have your actual celebration, you're celebrating. You're doing your spellcraft, you're doing your ritual, you're enjoying your time and not worrying about all the things that might have got left behind. So do you plan ahead for your celebrations? Are you a planner or are you more of a wing it type of witch? I'd love to know how that goes for you. Let us know in the comments below. And otherwise, yeah, that is our video for today. We'll catch you in the next one. Mwah. Thanks so much, you guys.